Section 4 is going to have us do a couple of things. We're first going to deal with finding the area of a triangle using two sides and an included angle. And then we're going to look at using the law of sines to solve triangles. There is a catch when we use the law of sines in a certain scenario. We're going to call that the ambiguous case that we're going to have to spend some time looking at. But first things first, we're going to look at how do we find the area of a triangle given some certain information. So I want you to think back to geometry from last year and your years before and understand that finding the area of a triangle is a half times the base times the height. But I want you to think to yourself, what if I don't give you the height, but I give you an angle measure instead? I would argue that you'd still be able to find the area of the triangle. The formula looks kind of interesting. I'm only going to show you one of these, and I want you to think of the scenario. I want you to think I'm giving you two sides and the angle measure that's between them. If you know that information, you should be able to find the actual area of the triangle. The formula states the area is equal to a half times B times C sine of A. Okay, that's how we're going to do it. Get two sides and the included angle. But where does that actually come from? Well, we can see part of this from up here at the top. We can see that I have a half times B and I have a half times B. But how does H become C times sine of A? Well, that comes from actually dropping the height in my triangle. Okay, I'm going to get rid of a lot of this other stuff. That comes from actually just dropping the height. So we can use a trig function to deal with this. If I use angle A, let's find the sine of A. Sine of A, we know, is equal to the opposite, which is H, over the hypotenuse, which is C. If I simplify and get H by itself, we'd multiply both sides by C. So now I get C sine of A equals H. And there it is. H is now replaced by C sine of A. We plug it in, and that's how we get our formula down here at the bottom. Okay, so let's try and use that down here. I'm gonna write down the formula again, even though it's kind of interesting looking. Area is equal to a half times two sides and the included angle. Okay, so to do this, I'm going to take a half times, one of my side lengths is 9, the other side length is 8, and I know that the angle between them is 104 degrees. You should be able to plug that straight into your calculator. 0.5 times 9 times 8 sine of 104 gets you an area of approximately 34.9. If you didn't get that, make sure you check the mode on your calculator again. Make sure it's in degree mode. So we're going to say it's 34.9. We're dealing with area, centimeters squared.